Welcome to my channel, you guys. I'm Kim, and today we're going to be playing with the MYOLIFT Microcurrent Mini. We're just going to do a whole protocol together. Here we go. I know that I'm not good, so if you comment here that my eyelashes look horrible, I know. And also, if you want to comment about my black eye, I know. A heads up, I did Botox 2 days ago, and yes, I have a black eye and we have bruises on my forehead, but it's totally okay. I'm totally okay.
This video is for educational purposes only. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1. Allowance is made for the fair use of purpose such as criticism, code news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All contents provided by this channel are meant for educational and entertainment purposes to help other women and men. There is an attack on true, helpful information from genuine sources. Please help me combat this attack by sharing this video with as many of your friends as possible. I apologize that every video needs to include this disclaimer as my videos are marked for adults. Unfortunately, this is our current landscape and I appreciate your understanding and support.
MYOLIFT is basically myocurrent for your face. I mean, you could use it anywhere essentially. It's causing current to go into your skin and build ATP in your muscles. If you want lifted or stronger or bigger muscles, just like if you were going to the gym where you would build ATP by giving physical exertion and lifting heavy weights. It's the same idea for your face. If you want more lifted cheekbones, if you want this muscle bigger, if you just want it more sculpted here, if you build those muscles by encouraging ATP growth, which microcurrent does, then they can be firmer. So that's what we're gonna do today. First, we're gonna cleanse my face and get my hair out of the way. On their website, they have some different protocols. And I'm doing the microcurrent protocol with microdermabrasion because I thought that could be a great way to use a lot of the tools that I have at my house. I'm sure you guys are always wondering, like, how does she utilize all these things? Now it's time to get into our microcurrent, which is the point of this video. I'm really excited about my gloves, but the first thing we need to do is we need to unpackage our new MYOLIFT Mini. So basically it's coming with the device, an instruction manual. I also got, what is this? Oh, this is the bioactive complex. It's an anti-aging conductivity gel. If we were using the probes that it comes with, we would need conductivity gel. They provide you with that. You could also use like aloe vera as a conductivity gel, but we are going to use our gloves. So you don't actually need a conductivity gel. You just need to apparently keep your face wet, and you could do like a water-based serum too. So like I'm going to do hyaluronic acid and peptides to kind of like help push that into my skin and give slip to the gloves. Oh, just another thing to charge it. I might have to charge this. I forgot about this. That's right. It doesn't plug in. It needs to be charged up. And I have a feeling that maybe these do not come from the factory charged. And maybe they are. We'll check. Let's see. Can I turn this guy on? Just kidding. Just kidding. The button up here is how you turn it on. Then down here is how you set what you want to do. We're going to stay on level 1 today. There's level 1 and level 2 of educate, and there's level 1 and level 2 of erase. I've clicked erase level 1. And I'm going to actually move the intensity all the way up. I believe it goes up to 400. I'm going to put it all the way at 400. And if I feel any twitching, I'm going to pull it back. Oh, okay. Just kidding. So at 300, it switches to level 2. Okay, we want to stay on level 1. I'm going to just go up to, I guess, right before 300 because 300 is when it changes. I'm going to stay there at 295. I'm going to just do it for 10 minutes on erase, and then we're going to do 10 minutes of educate. And I guess the whole idea of erase is that it's going to like lengthen and release the muscle or wherever you're having the wrinkle. And then educate is like pushing ATP back in to that muscle to get it to grow and be stronger. But if you're starting to twitch, the idea is that you might actually be expending that ATP. So the idea is to take it up as high as you can before you start getting muscle twitching. Just drop it down a little bit until you don't feel it so intensely, and then you should be able to build ATP and not exhaust ATP, because if your muscles are contracting, that means they're utilizing ATP. The other thing that I'll tell you is that Botox, as you can see some of the remaining marks on my face, is supposed to subdue or weaken the muscle. And you can get weakened muscles over time on your face when you use Botox consistently, because then the muscle's never contracting, it's never working. You could, in theory, think that microcurrent and Botox are opposites and they shouldn't be used together. I don't Botox my cheeks, for instance, so I would love to build these. I don't really care about building the muscle in my forehead that I like to keep smooth. However, I do want to lift here. So I'm going to be looking for programs or the the exercises with my hands where I'm lifting my cheeks and I'm lifting my eyebrows, because those are the areas that are important to me. On their site, they said after 48 hours of Botox, you can do microcurrent, but apparently you're supposed to give it like 48 hours to set it. They make now eye masks and mouth masks that you can actually just like set on your face and plug in, and it will do the work for you, which seems like if I'm really gonna get into microcurrent, that might be the way to go. I don't know. I'm really hoping I love these gloves. We're gonna be on I'm gonna actually do level 2 erase, honestly, because I think I have a pretty high tolerance for things, so we'll see. Take my time down to 10 minutes. And we'll do 10 minutes of erase, I think. Or we're just gonna go through the process and see how long it takes. I do have the bowl of water here because you need to get your gloves wet. And I also have latex gloves on, because think about it. If you put these silver threaded gloves on that conduct the current into your skin, but then you have skin against it, it's not going to go where you want. It's just gonna like disperse the current everywhere. So you need to have gloves on first, then you put on the gloves. You make sure that you probably want to put on your serums first before you put on the gloves, just because I think it's gonna be tricky to add them later. I'm doing a mix. I'm gonna do some hyaluronic acid. I'm gonna put it on my neck. So we're gonna do my neck too. I'm doing some copper peptides. This will help infuse it into my skin more and just boost collagen. That's the thought anyways. Okay, time to put on our gloves. So wire is on top. So the thing that's really cool about these gloves is, again, you do not need to keep adding gel because you just have to get them wet. So like I'm submerging my gloves in water, probably too wet. They're like all wet now. I'll just wipe them on a towel. We'll just kind of like dry them off a little bit. And the first thing we're gonna do is erase. And the reason erase is good is because it actually stretches the muscle. So a muscle maybe gets tight and shrunk. I'm not really sure why it matters to stretch it, although maybe you stretch it and then when you infuse it with ATP in the educate mode, maybe it's able to fill up better. I don't know exactly. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do this like pulling across our forehead thing. If you're not familiar with this, or if you've been watching a ton of these, then you know, but this little box down here, this rectangle, it is empty right now because there's no current. But for instance, if the current was connected, like if it was actually going into my skin, that would be a solid dark color. And it has like a little kickstand on the back of it, so you can like set it up in front of you. If I can get it open. Come on. All right, there we go. I'm pushing run. Okay, here we go. So then my understanding is that we are going to pull across. I'm gonna pull across like 6 times. You don't want to touch your gloves to one another, and that's what I'm doing, so hold on. I do not feel anything, but it is saying that there's conductivity, which is great. We want the current to go into the skin and then come out this glove, and if they're touching, then they're gonna bypass your skin. So that's the whole reason you don't want them to touch. Not that they're gonna like spark like jumper cables or anything. So then we did that. And now one hand anchored on brow, then use other hand to work up 4 times, moving across forehead. Oh yeah, that's right. You have one hand here, and then this hand is supposed to pull up without touching. And then you kind of like work across your forehead. So this hand is always the anchored one. This is the one that's stretching. Or you could do it the other way around. This hand could be the anchored one. This could be the one stretching. And I feel like, obviously, if you were doing this all the time, you would get your rhythm. I don't have a rhythm. Okay, so then that's done. And then you're supposed to do your crow's feet. So pulling one hand up, one hand down, one finger touch around edge. Oh yeah. Basically we're like pulling around here. You're just trying to stretch out that muscle. Or if you think about it, just like pulling your wrinkle apart. And I do have a bunch of these wrinkles down here underneath my eyes. I do kind of want to stretch those out. And then you can do the same thing on this side. And maybe even just one finger is better just because this is kind of a tighter area. If you think about it, if you have your whole hand on your face, you've really dispersed the conductivity. So like it's not as powerful in that one area if you have everything touching. But if you do like one finger, maybe it's more powerful in that area. I do not feel any twitching yet, and I'm at 350 level 2 erase. Now we're gonna do the upper lip. Basically, it's like pulling apart. And yes, it feels metallic in my mouth. And I kind of like that because I feel like something's happening, even though I'm not twitching. Oh, wait, that's right. We do under our lips now. Go up. Okay, so that's stretched out. Just said stretch out wrinkle. That's very helpful for me. Great. Okay, so if you have these kinds of wrinkles on the side, you can like pull up and pull them apart. You could anchor and kind of like stretch it out. You could do the same thing on this side. And if you wanted to stretch out this area, I believe you can go here and just push up. And that kind of helps stretch out your cheek muscle. Again, these things feel very complicated and not super easy to do all the time, but maybe you just create what works for you and the things that are important to you. Like, I don't really care about trying to loosen anything up here because I Botox it, so I don't really care about that area, but I do care about lifting my eyebrows. I care about strengthening around my mouth, and obviously I care about getting my cheeks higher. So those are the things I want to focus on, as well as my neck. So when it comes to the neck, it says like anchor one hand and the other hand moves up to stretch it. This actually does feel nice. Now you have to be careful to not go in the front of your neck because microcurrent apparently can affect your thyroid. So I'm just staying on the sides, which is kind of where I deal with a ton of stress. Because like I have all those bands in my neck, all those vertical lines. And so basically you can just like pull them apart. You can go in here. So this one hand is grounded on my, like right above my wrinkle. And I'm just using this finger to kind of like stretch it out. I guess I could do the same thing with these ones down here. It's kind of hard for me to want to put this kind of effort in because I have a hard time believing this is going to make any change. Other people are saying it does, so I want to try. But it is, I mean, if you've gotten this stuff and you feel like it's kind of confusing or you feel like it's hard, I'm with you. Like, I think it's a lot of work. They say 6 to 12 treatments on a regular basis, and you should be able to get the results. So I don't know if that means my neck is so much tighter or my cheeks are so much higher. I don't know exactly what they mean when they say that. Trying to get the current into my muscles to loosen them. Oh, you're not supposed to go across your face. I don't know if that really is going to do anything, but so like if I put my hands like this, that's like the wrong idea because apparently you're sending like current through your face. Let's educate ourselves. We've like stretched out our muscles. Now let's educate. And again, lots of notes because it's just a lot. Okay, I haven't had any issue with conductivity so far. So we are going to go to educate 2 and I'm going to turn my time up to 10 minutes. So now we're running. It automatically goes to 350 intensity, but I'm actually gonna bump it up all the way to 400. I'm going to start with our neck. Okay, so as you can see with the erase, you start at the forehead and you work your way down. With the educate, you start at your neck and you work your way up. Now this is supposed to be building ATP. I'm gonna get a little bit more water on my fingers. I haven't had any issues with conductivity so far, but I don't wanna have to like pull more water while we're doing this. Here we go. The first thing is on our jaw and we're gonna hold for 5 seconds. I'm gonna hold my jaw here because I'm trying to get that muscle. So now I feel like I'm pinching it at the jaw and I'm holding for 5 seconds. I'm gonna do the same thing. Here we go. Now I feel like I'm squishing that muscle at my jaw. Move here. And I'm holding for 5 seconds when I'm doing this. And hold, and yeah, it's like a metal taste. I guess you're trying to pinch that muscle in between the current, and the current is supposed to send an ATP into that muscle to strengthen it and make it more toned. There's this muscle or tendon here that's really, really strong on me or really just tight. And so I wonder if like pushing up on it would help. I think I'm gonna jump to things that are important to me just so that we don't waste a ton of time here with me trying to do each one of these movements. There's a lot of videos online of people showing who are much better than me at doing each one of these movements, but my whole reason for making this video was to see if I could feel more comfortable doing this with the gloves. So far, I don't know if I feel like so much better at any of this with the gloves, but there's some moves that I wanted to do that were important to me, and one of them was around the eyebrow and one of them was around the cheeks. This one also looked easy to me, like easier to understand. You know that line you get right here? Okay, stick your hand in it. You put your hand here and then you push towards your anchored hand. And you hold. And then you do that again. So then you move back down to that line, and you push up and you hold. Let's do this cheek one that apparently you can do around your eye. You have this orbital bone, you can feel it, it's right here. If you put your hand here and then you just like pinch up, okay, so that's where you can get like the flashing that people will talk about. So I just got some in my eye, and then I'm just gonna move over and pinch up again. And there is a little bit of twitching and flashing, but I'm gonna actually turn it down a little bit to see if I can get to an area where my under eye isn't twitching so much. I'm down at 330. Okay, so that reduced the twitching. I can still feel a little bit of fluttering, but I think this is the right intensity for around my eye. And you could just keep doing this. Like you could just do this a bunch of rounds if you wanted. I know that I'm kind of like not taking as much time as like definitely if you went somewhere to get this treatment done, they would take. I mean, that really is a luxury, right? If you could afford to go somewhere and get somebody to do microcurrent for you all the time, that would actually be really, really nice, but that's not my life. Okay, the last one that I really wanna do is the one for the eyebrows. Put your 2 fingers here on the side of your eyebrow, and then 2 fingers here, like they were probes, and I have conductivity, and you push up into the center, and you just hold it. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really want to see if one will get more lifted than the other. Before we move on to the other side, I'll do the other one, which is you put a finger here and then you push this finger up. And people do 2 fingers, but I'm thinking 1 finger on each side of this is the way to go. And then like I see people just like working their way back around this multiple times, just scooping up and lifting and basically pinching the muscle between the current. And look, it does, right, do you see this? Does this eye look more lifted?
Yeah, it does.
It does?
Yeah.
Even though it has the bad eyelash? It's got the bad eyelash, but it's like more lifted, right? That is really incredible about MYOLIFT, but obviously you can tell it's, I mean, I've got notes trying to do this. So I don't know, like I wonder, I kind of like want to make like 6 moves that are like my moves, like I do it all the time, and that way I can be better at it because I do see the benefits in this. You know, I always need things to not require me to think so much. If I have to think every single time I'm doing something. Most likely I'm not going to do it because I want skincare to be an enjoyable ritual for me, not like, oh, I have to really think about this now. Let me get out my books. In my skincare calendar right now, I do say that I'm going to do microcurrent on Wednesdays and Sundays. And I want you guys to know today's a Wednesday and I'm doing microcurrent. For my eyes, it looks like 300 intensity is the right intensity on Educate Level 2. The reason I also share is because I want you to know that I'm troubleshooting these things just as much as you are. And if you're struggling with this or you're thinking it's hard or you're like, how are people like doing this all the time? I'm with you because I think it's a lot of work. So that is basically what my microcurrent is. It is basically allowing you to run current through your muscles, which is supposed to generate ATP, build them, make them firmer, make them stronger, get that lift and tone you're after. But this is a lot of work. So it's not like this is like some easy thing to do all the time. I think you have to sit down and go through their manuals and figure out what are the things that you feel most comfortable with. This is how I look at it. I think the more exercises with this thing you get used to, then the more you're going to be able to add on. So I'm thinking for myself, I'm going to pick 4. Probably the 2 eyebrow ones and probably some neck ones. And if I can master those ones, then it makes it easier to move on to adding in more. I hope that this like gave you some insight into the MYOLIFT if you weren't already familiar with it, but I feel like most of you who watch my channel are. And I am gonna buy those face ones because I do think that doing the gloves or the probes is a lot of work and maybe I could do better with the masks. So I'm gonna get those and see what that's like. And then I'm gonna work on my neck with it because I really want my neck to be firmer, and if it can strengthen my neck, then that would be great. You guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope that this was at least funny for you, and if not at all educational, I hope it was fun. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye guys.